Hello, and welcome to Jerry Reads. This is The Raven by Edgar Allan Poe. Excuse me, I have a dog in my throat. Get it? Cause I'm a dog and okay. Once upon a midnight dreary, while I pondered weak and weary over many a quaint and curious volume of forgotten lore, while I nodded, nearly napping, suddenly there came a tapping, as if someone rapping gently at my chamber door. "'Tis some visitor," I muttered, tapping at my chamber door. "Only this, and nothing more." Ah, distinctly I remember 'twas in the bleak December, and each separate dying ember wrought its ghost upon the floor. Eagerly I wished the morrow, vainly I had sought to borrow from my books a cease of sorrow, sorrow for the lost Lenore, for the rare and radiant maiden whom the angels named Lenore, nameless here for evermore. And the silken, sad, uncertain rustling of each purple curtain thrilled me, filled me with fantastic terrors never felt before. So that now, to still the beating of my heart, I stood repeating, "'Tis some visitor entreating entrance at my chamber door. 'Tis this, and nothing more." Presently my soul grew stronger, hesitating then no longer. "Sir," said I, "or madam, truly your forgiveness I implore. But the fact is I was napping, and so gently you came rapping, and so faintly you came tapping at my chamber door, that I scarce was sure I heard you. Here I opened wide the door. Darkness there, and nothing more." Deep into that darkness peering, long I stood there, wondering, fearing, doubting dreams no mortal ever dared to dream before. But the silence was unbroken, and the stillness gave no token, and the one word there outspoken was the whispered word Lenore. This I whispered, an echo murmured back the words, "Lenore." Merely this, and nothing more. Back into the chamber turning, all my soul within me burning. Soon again I heard a tapping, somewhat louder than before. "Surely," said I, "surely that is something at my window lattice. Let me see then what thereat is, and his mystery explore. Let my heart be still a moment, and his mystery explore. 'Tis the wind, and nothing more." Excuse me. Here I flung the shutter. Open here I flung the shutter, when with many a flirt and flutter in there stepped a saintly raven of the saintly days of yore. Not the least subsistence he made he, not a minute stopped or sate he, but with mine of lord or lady perched above my chamber door, perched upon the bust of Pallas just above my chamber door, perched and sat, and nothing more. Then this ebony bird beguiling my sad fancy into smiling, by the grave and stern decorum of the countenance it wore, "Though thy crest be shorn and shaven, thou," I said, "art sure no craven, ghastly grim and ancient raven, wandering from the nightly shore. Tell me why thy lordly name is on the last Plutonian shore." Quoth the raven, "Nevermore." Much I marvel. Much I marvelled this ungainly fowl to hear discourse so plainly, though its answer little meaning, little relevancy bore, for we cannot help agreeing that no living human being has ever been blessed with seeing bird above his chamber door, bird or beast, upon the sculpted bust above the chamber door, with such name as what? Nevermore. But the raven, sitting lonely on the placid bust, spoke only that one word, as if in his soul that one word he did outpour. Nothing further then he uttered, not a feather then he fluttered, till I scarcely more than muttered, other friends have flown before. On the morrow he shall leave me, as my hopes have flown before. Then said the bird, nevermore. Startled at the stillness broken by reply so aptly spoken, doubtless, said I, what it utters is only stock and store, caught from some unhappy master, whose unmerciful disaster followed fast and followed faster, till his songs one burden bore, till the dirges of his hopes that melancholy burden bore, of the word never, nevermore. Oh, but the raven, still beguiling my sad fancy into smiling, straight I wheeled a cushioned seat in front of bird and bust and door. Then upon the velvet sinking, I betook myself to linking fancy unto fancy thinking, what this ominous bird of yore, what this grim, ungainly, ghastly, gaunt and ominous bird of yore meant in croaking, nevermore. This I sat in guessing, but no syllable expressing, to the fowl whose fiery eyes now burnt into my bosom's core. This and more I sat divining, with my head at ease reclining, on the cushion's velvet lining, that the lamplight gloated o'er. But whose velvet lining, with the lamplight gloating o'er, she shall press, nevermore. Then methought the air grew denser, perfumed by an unseen censer, swung by seraphim whose footfalls tinkled on the tufted floor. Wretch, I cried, God hath sent thee, by these angels he hath sent thee, respite and nepenthe from the memories of Lenore. Quaff this kind nepenthe, and forget this lost Lenore. Quaff the raven, nevermore. Prophet, said I, thing of evil, prophet still, if bird or devil, whether tempest sent or whether tempest tossed thee here ashore, desolate, ye all undaunted, on this desert land enchanted, on the home by horror haunted, tell me truly, I implore, is there balm in Gilead? Tell me more, I implore. Quoth the raven, nevermore. Prophet, said I, thing of evil, prophet still, if bird or devil, by that heaven that bends above us, by the God we both adore, tell this soul with sorrow laden, if within the distant Aidenn it shall clasp a sainted maiden, whom's the angels name Lenore. Clasp a rare and radiant maiden, whom the angels named Lenore. Quoth the raven, nevermore. Be that word our sign in parting, burned or fiend, I shrieked, upstarting. Get thee back into the tempest, and the night's Plutonian shore. Leave no black plume as token of that lie thy soul hath spoken. Leave my loneliness unbroken. Quit the bust above my door. Take thy beak from out thy heart, and take thy form from off my door. Quoth the raven, nevermore. And the raven, never flitting, still is sitting on the pallid bust of Pallas, just above my chamber door, and his eyes have all the seeming of a demon's that is dreaming. And the lamplight o'er him streaming throws his shadows on the floor, and my soul from out that shadow lies floating on the floor, shall be lifted nevermore. Ah, I've really very much had it with your shithead. This is... I've very much had it. You've really got off the fucking deep end this time, you bastard. What is wrong with you? What is wrong with you? You crazy bastard! You struck me, Tommy! Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. Oh yes, I still love you.